If you were asked, name one maneuver in obstetrics which is denounced in textbooks of obstetrics but is almost universally done in actual practice, what would your answer be? The maneuver I am referring to is fundal pressure. This maneuver was also known in the past by the name Christeller's maneuver. But the point is this outdated maneuver trying to make a comeback with a new name, gentle assisted pushing? Performing uterine fundal pressure remains one of the most controversial, understudied and underreported maneuvers in obstetrics. How frequently fundal pressure is performed in routine practice and the indication for its use are unclear. What I will try to elaborate in this e-lecture is that there is very little objective evidence of the effectiveness or safety of this intervention. In fact, the use of vigorous fundal pressure is potentially harmful. Historically, in the pre-oxytocin era, they had no choice but to resort to such barbaric methods as seen in this picture of making the uterus expel the baby. But in modern obstetrics, there is very little room for such maneuvers. Published data suggests that use of the Christeller maneuver in clinical practice varies worldwide. In some centers, it is never used and is regarded as obsolete, whereas in others, it is considered a routine procedure. In India, the maneuver appears to be used universally in rural as well as in urban hospitals. Applying fundal pressure by pushing on the mother's abdomen in the direction of the birth canal is often used to assist spontaneous vaginal birth, shorten the length of the second stage of labor, for maternal exhaustion, and to reduce the need for instrumental birth deliveries such as forceps or vacuum assisted deliveries, or to reduce the incidence of cesarean deliveries. It is particularly relevant in low resource settings where options for assisted or operative births are limited or are not available. Having said this, often it is applied without any formal indications mentioned above. However, there are some situations where fundal pressure is absolutely contraindicated. These are shoulder dystocia and acute intrapartum fetal distress late in second stage of labor. Fundal pressure can cause pressure on the abdominal aorta and decrease the blood supply to the fetus, especially the fetal brain, leading to asphyxia. At the outset, I want to discuss the physics of labor in order to explain whether fundal pressure is required in labor and delivery, an original thinking on my part. The fetus is a mass, and for this mass to move, one or more forces have to be applied as per Newton's laws. So, what are these forces of labor? The two physiological forces used to achieve delivery of the fetus are uterine contractions, which I call the primary force, and the other is Valsalva maneuver. In Valsalva's maneuver, increased intra-abdominal pressure is generated by simultaneous muscle contraction and forced respiratory efforts with a closed epiglottis, which is commonly referred to as spontaneous pushing. This auxiliary force is required for the completion of labor. I call this the secondary or auxiliary force. These two forces of labor can be considered as physiological. Now, an application of another external force that is uterine fundal pressure, described as an external force applied to the uppermost portion of the uterus in a caudal direction, is, according to me, a tertiary force which is non-physiological. As is evident from this picture, in India, fundal pressure is given so enthusiastically that it is like squeezing the toothpaste out. I know of maternity homes where the DIs or midwives literally sit on the patient's abdomen and give fundal pressure with the weight of their entire body. This should be condemned in no uncertain terms, not only because it can cause maternal and/or fetal trauma, but also because it is inhumane. The mantra should be gently push but do not squeeze. This is another self-explanatory picture showing what goes on in some of the labor rooms. Needless to say, one must avoid this. In order to understand the correct technique of applying fundal pressure, please watch this video. Fundal pressure involves the birth assistant using her hands to push on the upper part of the uterus in the direction of the birth canal to help increase intrauterine pressure with contractions to expel the baby. It should be given for a limited amount of time, approximately 15 to 30 seconds and not more. What about giving uterine fundal pressure during a cesarean delivery? Well, you know that it is done routinely. According to me, this is a different ball game. Here, the auxiliary force is applied to the surgeon's hand trying to deliver the head and not to the maternal pelvic floor muscles. One more thing, because the uterine incision has been taken and the head is exposed, there is no excessive compression force on the fetal head which occurs when the head is in the confines of the pelvic cavity in second stage of labor. Thus, application of gentle fundal pressure at cesarean delivery helps in delivering the baby without maternal complications. Studies have shown that fundal pressure is associated with high incidence of obstetric anal sphincter injuries, especially 3rd and 4th degree perineal tears. It is also associated with acute intrapartum fetal distress, which has significant medico-legal implications. Occasional cases of rupture of uterus have been reported. A significantly high incidence of pelvic floor damage, especially levator ani muscle avulsion, has been reported in certain randomized controlled studies. Anecdotal cases of maternal rib fracture have also been reported. And of course, nobody even talks of the psychological trauma to the mother who sees the spectacle of a person leaning on her and applying intense pressure on her abdominal wall. It must be a sight she will never ever forget. A new device called inflatable obstetric belt has been introduced to give uterine fundal pressure in a controlled manner. An inflatable belt developed by a company called Curexo from South Korea has been studied for its effectiveness. The device, called Labor Assist, consists of a trocar transducer, a control unit, and an inflatable belt. The trocar transducer on the inflatable belt detects uterine contractions and sends a signal to the control unit, which then injects 200 millimeters of mercury of air into the belt for 30 seconds. In the study, the frequency of inflations was limited to fewer than 7 times per 15 minutes. Initial studies have shown that this belt does not decrease duration of second stage or rates of assisted vaginal delivery or cesarean delivery. I doubt whether this device will withstand the test of time. There is an ongoing trial called the Gentle Assisted Pushing Trial, which could help to provide important evidence on the effects of applying funnel pressure according to a specific protocol. Gentle assisted pushing is an innovative method of applying gentle but steady pressure to the uterine fundus in the direction of the pelvis during contractions for a maximum of 30 seconds per contraction, with the woman in an upright position as shown in this picture. Reference for the trial, which is being carried out in South Africa, is given here. WHO recommendation on fundal pressure application is as follows. Application of manual fundal pressure to facilitate childbirth during the second stage of labor is not recommended. This is as per 17th February 2018 recommendation. So then, what is the role of this maneuver? Uterine fundal pressure remains understudied and controversial. Caution should be exercised when using this maneuver until it is proven to be safe and effective. You want to know my personal opinion? I believe it has no justifiable use in today's obstetric practice. My advice to those who still perform it: like episiotomy, obtain an informed consent prior to use of this procedure, and advise postpartum pelvic floor assessment 3 to 6 months after delivery. To summarize, there is currently insufficient evidence for the routine use of fundal pressure by any method on women in the second stage of labor. Because of current widespread use of the procedure and the potential for use in settings where other methods of assisted birth are not available, further good quality trials are needed. As the saying goes, the jury is still out. If you want to know more about this topic or any other topic in obstetrics and gynecology, please refer to my books Modern Gynecology, Modern Obstetrics, and Practical Obstetrics and Gynecology, and other books. The links are given below. They are available on Amazon.in. For purchase inquiries, contact me on this WhatsApp number. Also, please like, comment and share this channel and my other channel, Modern OBGYN. Thank you.